Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Factorio Bob's Angels, episode 57. So we start the episode off as per usual, getting some research done. These happening extremely quickly, partly because they're quite low-level tech, also because the base is buffered a little bit. I've done a little bit of power, tiny little bit of tidying here and there, but literally only about 10-15 minutes of play before I started recording. So one thing I did notice, at the start of this recording was we ran out of sapphirite, which meant no steel, and a load of other things stopped working, but I'll explain that in a little bit. But what I wanted to do this episode was get some of the defenses finished, some of the much needed defenses that are starting to break down because they're just sniper turrets just sat there doing nothing. So the very first thing we get set up for the factory is production of the highest tier of laser and sniper turrets, so we can get those going. But of course, they're not going to be able to produce very many if we've run out of sapphirite, because that's caused a whole load of other issues, not just iron. Basically, crushed stone is our main provider, or only provider, of brown catalyst, which is a main ingredient for a lot of the combination sorting. So things like silicon, gold, the ore used for titanium. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, yeah, we've run out of that, so we need to do something about this episode. I did kind of want to set up the new sapphirite outpost, which was uncovered in episode 50. We still haven't connected any of those up, but I kind of need the proper defenses in to do that, and I can't build the proper defenses until I get the sapphirite in. So we could either wait for a train, which I think does happen, or no, it hasn't happened yet. So I send it down to get some in, but we're going to go up there and basically upgrade the miners and get in a load of productivity modules and speed modules. So we hop on the train. I did steal a couple of miners off of the file train, which before the start of the episode, I amended all of the requested chests for the correct tier of items, which has all been set to be produced in the logistics area already, but I didn't grab enough because I think the file was still filling up. I'd only just done it before the start of the recording. So we come and get most of the belts upgraded, but I do run out to the point where we get the delivery to the actual trains, which is kind of needed. I didn't really bring enough up with me due to the shortages in the base. A lot of things have stopped being produced, but to be honest, we completely saturate these, although, yeah, they're still not being delivered fully on green, so it's quite obvious why they're saturated. But we get in a couple of beacons with speed modules, and this is going to increase our sapphirite massively. In fact, to be honest, this one outpost is probably going to be enough for the main bus, and the new sapphirite and javolite patches can go towards future projects, which I will talk about more in the future. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'll be going into it over the next couple of weeks, or I'll completely go against that statement and I'll start talking about it later on in the episode. But hopefully that sapphirite outpost is going to be enough for now. So we come and have a look at the crushed stone slurrying, which is now running okay. All that crushed stone from the first sapphirite train has made it down on the green belts. We're now making brown catalyst again, which in turn is giving us gold, the titanium ore and silicon, and any other things that we have combo sorting set up for. So all of those products are now feeding back into the factory, but there's another problem. There's no plastic. So I come down and have a look at why, and it's the sodium chloride, I think it is. It's completely built up in the passive providers. We're not using it enough, so it would probably be better to have an active provider. One of the things I need to do is redo the logistics storage system so we've got more than enough space for all of this stuff, because we're clearly making more of it than we are actually using. So we're just going to need to store it somewhere for now. It is used in various things, so hopefully it's relatively balanced out. But yeah, we just need to get rid of it and set it up in a way that it's not going to clog up again. And again, I just come and upgrade belts and inserters just to get this running as quickly as we can. I'm kind of reluctant to put in raw productivity in the production of the chlorine, I think it is. It's just chlorine, because we're just going to be producing more of the sodium chloride, so I don't really want that. And I'm not putting it in the plastic because I kind of want to use up some of that petroleum. We're about a bit unbalanced with the use of the petroleum, but when we start using petroleum and the light and heavy oil for things like solid fuel for rockets, I'll then get some more productivity in there when it starts to balance out a bit. But yeah, I just come and try and get plastic upgraded because, yeah, in turn of all the things we've been upgrading in the last couple of episodes, plastic's the next thing that needs using. But there's all kind of things that need belts upgrading. And I am trying to do a little bit in between episodes, just belts, nothing too major, just to get the factory up and running. So the premise for the next few episodes over the next week, basically we're going to work towards episode 60, which is going to be another Bob's Angel of Death. We're going to go and clear that area up near Sapphirite in the north finally, and cover loads of resources. I'm basically just going to clear biters into that desert for like 2 hours and just find the best places to put in defenses. And then maybe by around episode 61, 62, we'll have a full 360-degree perimeter of permanent defenses, probably with repair robots in as well. Probably won't do any kind of delivery system. I'll just know when they run out of stuff when the logistics system starts bleeping at me. But yeah, basically the plan is to work towards launching a rocket next weekend. I think it's Saturday the 13th. I am probably going to work towards doing a live stream on that Saturday. And I'm thinking of doing it quite late in the day on Saturday, so people in the US should be able to watch it sometime in the day. People in the UK can still watch later on at night, but I'm planning on making it quite a long stream. I'm not going to launch the rocket straight away. We're going to work on a few things that will be needed to do it. I'll probably leave the research until then, even though I could just do it now. I could select it and it would probably be done in about 15 minutes. But that is the plan. I don't want to say it's solidly in stone because I've never actually done a live stream. I'll need to do a test this week to make sure it all works okay. But I want to do quite a long stream of just walking around the factory, talking to people real time. That would be really great if people want to come and watch it. So that is the plan for Saturday the 13th. So up until then, we're just going to be getting all the defenses done, everything I need for a Bob's Angel of Death on episode 60. For example, the last piece of power armor needs sorting out. I need to sort out all the items for powering that power armor. I need to get the latest reactors and everything like that. And I'm probably going to get in the nuclear power mod done because we're going to need an extra power source on top of the solar. And I might as well have a go at it, being as I install the mod. But it'd be nice to have as well as the other forms of power being provided. I just need to work out how the whole thing works. So yeah, we're just trying to sort out the flow of petroleum through to plastic now, because that seems to be the shortfall. But yeah, it's very quickly going to empty these reserves in the tank, and we're probably going to have to come back again and have a look at getting speed beacons in for the various cracking, and upgrading the speed for the refiners as well. I don't know if this is going to help matters putting in this blue pipe, but I get the 4 pump kind of layout set up right next to the petroleum tanks. I get the petroleum pipes all the way through to the chemical plants, but I come back and add another couple of the pumps set up. If there's a better type of underground pipe I could be using and pumps, then let me know. I'll get it put in. I'll upgrade it. I think there's better pumps I could be using. I just haven't researched them. So it'd probably be worth getting those in. In fact, I know there is because I've used them in the past. I just need to go and research them and get them in. My order of doing research, I've noticed, has been a bit convoluted. So it might be worth next episode just having a look at the list and seeing the really obvious stuff that I've missed. But yeah, we'll get those done. And actually, I do put a bit of raw productivity in for the plastic. Looks like I've changed my mind. I guess it's because we were using quite a lot of the petroleum anyway. And it'll kind of make more efficient use of the chlorine as well. So yeah, plastic's pretty well upgraded. It's got green belts all the way up onto the main bus. And I just come and clear up these requesters. I put them in to clear up any of the Bob's ores that were sitting in the logistics system. But a lot of those are passive providers, so they did start looping around. But it has cleared any of the ores that are in the logistics system. I just come and see how laser turrets Mark V are getting on, just to make sure we've got enough to start doing defenses, which is essentially going to be the premise of the second half of the episode. They are a bit short of titanium, so I do come and upgrade the belts just to increase the amount of titanium coming through to the logistics provider just here. I also get the batteries upgraded as well, as we're using a full yellow belt, so I've got enough green belt to take that all the way back to the assembly machines for the lithium ion batteries. But I also want to go and check they've got the full level of raw productivity and just check how the production of them are going. And we also upgrade the carbon and plastic inputs for those as well, just to make sure that stays running at a nice speed. So we're going to be using even more plastic now. I come and take another look just to see what's going slow. and it's literally the venting of helium that's slowing things down. So I come and put a vent in for every machine. We are taking that out and putting it in the logistics system. I could probably put a circuit condition in there to say, make sure that tank's full first. But to be honest, it's producing it that fast, that tank's always going to be full. We're never going to need it in the logistics system to any ridiculous extent. I also come and get reinforced walls put in. I'm not too worried about putting this in late because they get produced absurdly fast with the beacon with those tier 8 speed, raw speed modules in. We just come and check various pieces of ingredients used for producing the turrets again. This time it's the electronic processing board, which is slowed down to the input of solder and the logistics providers for those. So we come and bring that back to the main logistics providing bit, which has green already up to it, but I have spotted yet again another little bit of belt I've missed out, which was holding up the amount of solder coming through. So we've got all that green all the way down to the end now, so that should hopefully improve the production of the Mark V laser turrets. Again, just looking around to see what's what. Another thing I wanted to get set up is green modules, because this should help counteract our amount of power being used. I'm not going to put them in absolutely everywhere. I'll probably just stick one in every beacon, just because it will massively help reduce the amount of power being used and the pollution as well. I'm not so bothered about the pollution. I quite like having a big, absurd pollution cloud, but it's the power I'm more bothered about. So we'll get those in at some point, but they're not really a priority for me at the moment. It just means I'll have to put out less solar and accumulator, and if we put nuclear in as well, power should hopefully never be an issue ever again. So we come and collect a load of reinforced walls, whatever laser turret Mark Vs are available, and a little bit of piercing ammo. I also clean up my inventory a little bit because we are going to be picking up a lot of alien artifacts going out into the wilderness, and I start to head out thinking I'm ready to go and start doing defenses, but I start thinking about things. I start running around the lovely field of artifacts while I'm thinking about stuff, and I realize there's one other thing I want. I want the final tier of radars. I'm not going to make them on my person. I'm never really going to be able to justify making them in the factory that much, but I do it anyway because I'm probably going to have everything in here eventually. So anything I ever want, I'll be able to request, ready for the future. So we get that all laid out with the new blueprint. I've created a blueprint at the start of the episode which has all the green circuits in and everything. I just need to enter in what I'm making and the restrictions on the inserters to make sure we use stuff out of the logistics first. So we come down to the closest bit of power available to where we're putting in the wall, and we bring power poles directly over to the sapphirite patch. To be honest, that's probably roughly where the rail's going to run when we eventually do start using these. But yeah, we come and start putting in some defenses. Another thing that I didn't mention that I put in production for is the final tier of sniper turrets. So we got a load of those on us, which is great, just to be a bit more efficient with our ammo. And we give the destroyer robots a test. We come and clear this space because I want the walls to be nice and forward of the sapphirite so that the pollution isn't too thick over the bases. But yeah, it's nice to give them a test, see how they're going to be for episode 60, because I'm going to be using a hell of a lot of them. They're a fantastic thing to go with the flamer. Clearing bases is going to be extremely fun, way more fun than they were in episode 50. So yeah, I'm just going to run around burning the spawners while they just clear everything up in between for me. But we do need to increase the follow count a lot more. I want at least double this for episode 60. We're also going to need the damage highly increased as well, so it's not just how many we've got out, it's how much damage they're doing too. So we get a blueprint set up for the Mark V laser turrets. I should really have this in Foreman now. I believe I get it in later on, but yeah, I should have had this in ages ago. I think I've been avoiding putting it in Foreman until we have the final tier, so I'm not having to go in and change it lots. But I changed the research for a load of combat damage for the destroyer robots. I may give laser a go. These guys, you know, they move around a lot slower. I did explain last episode why I prefer these to the laser ones, but because of the way Bob's Warfare has changed the way Spitter projectiles work, I may go for the laser ones and they may actually turn out better. But yeah, that's something I'll add at some point, hopefully for episode 60. So I come and clear another base that obviously needs clearing. It's right in front of the wall. Yeah, really enjoying doing this with the destroyer capsules because it is a lot quicker. I haven't mentioned it yet. This episode is at 3.5 times speed because I played for about an hour 15, an hour and 20 minutes just because I wanted to get absolutely everything finished in the episode. I didn't want to do anything afterwards. But yeah, it's at 3.5 speed, but again, there's nothing too ridiculously complicated going on in the episode that we're not going to be able to follow. And it means this last bit, doing the wall, is done nice and quickly. So the flame is working much better this episode than it was in 50 because we've done a lot of the flamer damage upgrades. I was very happy with it this episode. Nests would plummet extremely quickly, and any of the larger worms that I would flame would also die very quickly. Now down here we get a group of biters and spitters, much like the big red blob that is no longer there, kind of forming, and the flamer does a lovely job of setting them all on fire because they're all nicely stuck close together. It's very easy to get them all destroyed. And the destroyer capsules are fantastic for clearing up all of the little worms that I miss once a base has pretty much been removed. They're very good for that, and also dealing with a load of the stragglers that come and bother me while I'm trying to build the walls. But obviously this group was a bit too much, so I put in a load of the sniper turrets just to deal with those. So we start laying out the blueprint for the diagonal wall. At the end of this, I do get it saved into Foreman because this was a right load of palaver, getting it all nice and neatly laid out with the walls fitting in nicely diagonally. So yeah, I definitely get that into Foreman, so I never really have to do that again. But I like the walls to be nice and neat and kind of symmetrical or whatever. I don't know, yeah, just to satisfy my OCD or just fussiness more accurately. So we get that all laid out. Halfway through, I do get a little bit confused. It does start to hurt my head a bit because, yeah, it's just one of those things that it's not really fun to lay out. And then trying to take the blueprint gets a bit frustrating because there's those sniper turrets in the way. I've got the extra turrets in the corner because corners are always the weakest bit, but it kind of turns out to work okay. But I can see now there's one little piece of reinforced wall that's being added in that ruins the whole pattern. I could go and take it out, or I could much easier just forget that it's there. But about halfway through the diagonal section, we do run out of both reinforced wall and sniper turrets. So I come and clear this base because it's quite near the wall and we don't want the unfinished wall being attacked. We take out a few of the groups rallying to make an attack. So we come in and set them on fire and piss them all off and start to head back to get some more resources. I do need to clear up all of those sniper turrets, which we do in the episode. But yeah, I need to go get some more stuff to finish the walls first. We don't want to take out the old defenses and let any biters through. But yeah, I'm loving the bots now. They've been nice and upgraded. They're on Mark 4. So before I can even walk up to the Mark 5 laser turret production, the bots have already delivered it to me, but I haven't requested any reinforced wall. And I manually just go and grab it just to check it. I did notice earlier that Bobmonium had stopped, and it looks like some small artifacts have made their way into the train carriages, preventing the train from meeting that full value and never actually getting back to the factory. It was something I was going to look at this episode. I just kind of found it by chance by walking past them. So we get in a Mark 5 radar, I think it is, just so we can start looking in this area, and it has a very big visible range and an even bigger scanning range. I would love to be on 0.15 in this playthrough so we can have the map feature, but I'm not ready to upgrade to it yet. I don't even know how long that's going to be. I've not even looked if any of the mods are up to date yet, but we run into an inventory problem. We're absolutely full of all the ammo and sniper turrets we're getting from the old defenses and all the artifacts around me, but we do come and finish laying the wall out because, yeah, by getting rid of some of these turrets, it is freeing up a bit of inventory space. But then I decide to go and fill it up with a load of artifacts and crap. But yeah, we've run out of resources yet again, which is a bit frustrating. But I come and get the Laser Mark 5 diagonal and straight in my inventory. So yeah, any future walls will have all this nice and easy to produce. I come and get the straight from up here because I can at least lay that south bit out when we can go and get some more wall. In fact, I think I've run out of wall. I don't think I've run out of laser turrets, but we get the straight blueprint into our inventory. And yeah, there we go. We finish at least laying out the straight bit at the bottom. I kind of wanted this bottom bit straight because once we start producing a lot of pollution over that lake, they're going to be coming round and attacking this section more than the rest. So if it's facing straight down, a lot more turrets are going to be able to shoot the biters than if it's diagonal. All the biters are going to go for that very edge bit. But there, as the lake kind of branches out a bit, they'll be heading to that section of wall in the middle, and a lot more turrets will be able to shoot. Being as we're on Mark 5 laser turrets, and I've done quite a bit of laser turret shooting speed and damage, I'm going for one single row, and that's probably what I'm going to go for everywhere, because hopefully that's going to be reliable enough for me, but we'll see how it goes. Plus, I wouldn't have got the wall done in this episode if I went for 2 laser turrets thick. We do get attacked up north at the Sapphirite. They've made a hole in those sniper turret sort of defense blocks, so I will need to go up and have a look at sorting that out. But I'm not going to do that in a recording because the emphasis for episode 60 is going to be up in that area. And we can do something more permanent for that episode. So we come and make our final trip to the factory to pick up resources for defense walls. We've almost finished that last bit, but I grab everything available, and we also unload all the artifacts and any auto trash stuff emptied out to the logistics network, and we head back down to finish off the defenses. But on the way, I had the module for marking stuff again, and a load of my personal construction robots needed to recharge. So we finally get that last bit of wall laid out. That is that whole wall finished. We have to take a nice look at the factory here. There's an island there with a load of biters stuck on it. We'll also have a look at the evolution, which is at 0.96, slowly encroaching our way to 1.0. And yeah, I decided to come and end the episode sat in the middle of all these artifacts just to see what my current power armor setup can do in terms of clearing them. Obviously, this isn't the best it can be. We're going to go for the final mark of power armor very soon. There's 2 more tiers above this one. But yeah, so that's hopefully the plan. Live stream on Saturday the 13th for the first rocket launch of the factory. I'm probably going to start somewhere around 6 to 8 o'clock British summertime, which will hopefully give people in both the US and over here a chance to be able to come and join in. It would be great if people come and join me, come and ask me any questions. We can have a look around the factory at real time as well. But yeah, it's going to be my first live stream, so it could all go horribly wrong, but we shall see. That's going to be all we have time for. I do hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and please do come and join me in the next episode. Bye bye.